For criminal affairs this week, we've got some good stuff. Jerry called me asking for help, and after some convincing and a little bribery, I agreed, but only after he told me it was the both of them and not one against the other. I will not hesitate to choose a side in most situations, but regarding the Anzels, it is far easier not to. All disputes they form die out soon enough, and if I haven't picked either side in the meantime, neither of them hold a pointless grudge against me for the next 2 months. We've got some plans to finalize now, but it looks like we'll be doing a raid in 2 weeks on someone of theirs. I'm not a fan of their planning, everything is fairly last minute with them, but it's something, and I've been stuck in the house for too long anyways. That guy that was going around blowing things up has been relatively quiet. One appearance on Tuesday, and nothing since. Maybe they've learned blowing everything up isn't the way into the hearts of the masses, or perhaps they blew themselves up in one of what is obviously many moments of stupidity. Regardless, they've retreated for now, and we'll either see them again soon or we won't at all. There was a news story about a triple homicide case on TV last night. I think I knew the guy back in high school. She was a straight-A student, too bad she couldn't use those smarts to keep herself from getting caught. It seems too many people nowadays just don't apply themselves when it comes to everything after committing the crime. They all think it ends there, and that's not how you become a successful criminal. Natural selection, I suppose. I got some good shit done this week. You'll hear all about it in a moment. I had my meeting with Cole on Monday, and some new developments took place. This is going to be interesting to explain. We met up and were heading to a cafe. I was getting information, and everything was going smoothly until some kid barreled through. I'm going to temporarily ignore the fact that they looked like they're still living in 2008. They pushed Cole into the street on their way by, and I instinctively caught Cole's arm so they didn't end up a blood splatter on the road somewhere. But 2008 kid almost did by my hands, and the situation wasn't made any better when someone else blew past us, obviously in pursuit of them. Most likely just some idiot purse snatcher with no aversion to causing a disturbance. My issue with that situation is the fact that I actually felt anger as Cole, this person I had only met a few minutes ago at the time, was pushed out of the way. The only conclusion I can come to is that they, being a negotiator as they are, had already made me feel as if we had some sort of connection. I know they know their way around words. I don't appreciate being manipulated, but it's proof of Cole's skill level, the cunning bastard. As long as they are on my side, it won't be a problem. I find myself being slightly less opposed to taking them on as well, and that unsettles me. We continued talking after that child interrupted us, but we decided we did not have enough time to come to any real conclusions. We set up another meeting for tomorrow, and it may or may not become a weekly happening depending on how our discussion pans out tomorrow afternoon. I am confident that I don't want them as a permanent partner, and I've already made that clear, but they don't seem to mind. Either they've changed their mind about that partnership, or they plan on changing my mind. Regardless, good luck to them in their endeavors. As mostly expected, I've seen nothing of that hacker since they ruined my main computer last Sunday. I hope to never hear of them again, but I might get Terry in here with his team when he isn't having a spat with his brother to sweep and do some maintenance on my system just in case. Nothing special, really, but it should be more routine. Something to work on. Michael showed up again, this time cornering me in the parking lot instead of the actual store. The lot was nigh empty, even, which was strange, as they usually find me when plenty of people are around. Perhaps they're afraid I'll kill them if there are no witnesses. It's a rather strange concept. Regardless, I was transferring my groceries to my car when they showed up, and they really just repeated the same thing they've been saying. But this time they finished it off with a line about proving themselves to me. I asked them what that meant, and they want to show me their skills. Say they've taught themselves everything they know since they first saw me last year. Apparently I'm their idol. I can't take them seriously. If I see this kid around one more time, I might take them up on their offer, if only to see what they're going on about, despite the fact that I've repeatedly told them I don't do partnerships. They're a bit loud for my taste, as I'm sure you can all tell by now, but we'll see what they've been dying to share with me, and if it surprises me, perhaps I'll bring them in for projects in the future. I've been planning something of my own recently, and it may be put on hold by my operations with the Anzels, but if all goes as planned, I'll have some new stories to regale you with in a few weeks. We have a contribution from an outside source this week. This contribution is from an acquaintance of mine that I spoke with a few nights ago, who wishes not to be named, but those of you who are more educated regarding semi-recent events in the crime universe may recognize the story. It's not a light one, but it contains some important points. A few names have been altered to protect identities. A few years back, when I had my crew together, we did a raid on someone who had been creeping in our territory for a while. It was supposed to be easy. We didn't think they were a threat, and we underestimated them. It was like an entire city was there waiting for us. They wrecked us. We lost M&A that day, and no one knows where one of our others went. No one could get a hold of him for months afterward, and eventually we gave up. Those of us who were left didn't make it long as a group. Eventually, we all went our separate ways. I haven't seen the rest of my crew in 6 years. Sometimes I wish we had never been a crew in the first place. Crews fall apart all the time. If you want to keep yours together, you have to play it safe. Don't estimate your enemy. Do your studying. If you have to estimate your enemy, it isn't safe to go after them. Unless you have no choice, wait until you have information. Hire someone if you need to. If you're going to have a crew, don't bring untrustworthy people into it. Maybe you feel sorry for them. Maybe they're convincing enough at first glance. Don't form a crew of people who are going to disappear without a trace. Do more screening than you think you need. That missing member could have disappeared because he was with the enemy, and you will most likely never know. If you form a crew, people are going to get injured, people will disappear, and it is not going to be the easiest to live with it every day. Maybe you didn't get to someone fast enough. Maybe someone didn't get to you fast enough. Maybe whoever you're fighting that day is smarter than you are, more cunning, and has your plan figured out before you've even begun to apply it. Deal with it. Not everything is going to go your way. Don't depend on others, and don't let others depend on you. This is not a forgiving world. You can find me at diaryofamastermind@gmail.com.